speaking person says he is a boer, meaning he is backward. But they call each other names. They call the colored community hot knots, means Hottentots. They call my people coolies, laborers. They call the Africans Kaffirs. But now if you like the term, you adopt it. No Indian goes around in South Africa boasting I'm a coolie. No colored goes around boasting I'm a hot knot. No boer goes around boasting I'm a boer in the sense of a backward rustic. And no Englishman goes around boasting we are Ruinecks. But if you like the term, the choice is yours. The Christian made the choice. They liked what the enemies called them, and they accepted it. But the religion of Jesus, according to the definition he will give us, that my religion is a religion of total submission to God's will. One word for that in the Arabic language is Islam. And he is a Muslim. The Quran describes Jesus as a Muslim, his disciples as Muslims. What does it mean? That they followed Muhammad? No, they didn't hear the term Muhammad. Then what does Muslim mean? Muslim means one who has submitted his will to the will of God. Anyone who submits his will to the will of God, the Quran says Abraham was a Muslim, Moses was a Muslim, David, Solomon and Jesus were Muslims, Muhammad was a Muslim, and everyone who submits his will to the will of God is a Muslim. In the Garden of Gethsemane, we see this submission by Jesus, which qualifies him to be called a Muslim per excellence. He goes to the Garden of Gethsemane, according to the New Testament, and he tells his disciples, wait and watch, meaning keep guard. And he went a little further and fell on his face and prayed to God, said, oh my Father, if it be possible, let this cup pass away from me, meaning remove the difficulty from me, but not as I will, but as thou wilt. The expression, but not as I will, what I want, but as thou wilt. Whatever you want me to do, whatever you want me to go through, oh my Lord, I am prepared to submit. The word for that in Arabic is aslama, submitting. He is a Muslim who has submitted. So Jesus was a Muslim, Moses was a Muslim, and if each and every one of us, we are prepared to submit to the will and plan of God, you are all Muslims. There is no such thing as Judaism, and there is no such thing as Christianity in the official books of the religion. Therefore I say that there is no Judaism and no Christianity. But in the teachings, I say that actually there is no difference. In the fundamental principle of the teaching of Moses, Jesus and Muhammad, there is not an iota of difference, not one dot. I said in the fundamentals of the teachings of Moses, Jesus and Muhammad, even as recorded today in the Christian Bible, there is not an iota of difference. And I prove it to you. We want to know from the Jews. What is the first commandment? The most important thing in your faith. The first commandment, what is it? So he would tell you in the Hebrew language. If he knows, I asked an elderly Jew, I said, now, do you know the Shema? We say the Shahada. They say the Shema. I said, do you know the Shema? He said, my wife knows it at home. I said, no, I want to know whether you know it. However, the Shema is the Shahada of the Jew as given out, uttered by the Holy Prophet Moses. The Shema Israel Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. Some 1,300 years after Moses, Jesus Christ is on the scene. He is trying to reclaim his people, bring them out of formalism, ceremonialism, into the truth of God, make them to accept the letter and the spirit. They are going for the letter of the law, they had forgotten the spirit. And as a reformer among the Jews, we believe as the Messiah, he had come to reclaim them, put them back onto the path. But his preaching, when he preached, the Jews, they thought something otherwise, that this man has brought another religion. Because the way he preached, he didn't preach like the other Jews. The other Jews always said, it is written. Moses said this. It is written, Isaiah said this. It is written, Jeremiah said this. Everything, it is written, and they quote. Jesus doesn't speak like that. He says, it has been said by them of old time, thou shalt not commit adultery. But I say unto you, on a different level now. It sounds different. I am telling you, you heard that you must not commit adultery. But I say unto you, whosoever looketh upon a woman to lust after her, had committed adultery with her already in his heart. He's speaking with authority. Not what's written. What is written is there, but now I'm telling you this. You listen to me. Again, he says, it has been said by them of old time, an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. But I say unto you, resist not evil. He who strikes you in the right, you give him the other. It has been said by them of old time, that whosoever puts away his wife, let him give her a bill of divorcement. But I say unto you, that whosoever puts away his wife, save for the cause of fornication, causes her to commit adultery, and whosoever marries her that is divorced, committed adultery. You noted? But I say unto you, but I say unto you, but I say unto you. That created the wrong impression in the hearts and minds of the Jews that this man has brought a new religion. So they come to him, Gospel of St. Mark chapter 12, verse 29, they come to him and this is Master. In the Hebrew language, Rabbi. They were sarcastic. But they showed respect. Outwardly, it's a Master, Rabbi, Maulvi Sahib, or Bishop, Bishop Sahib. What commandment is the first of all? And Jesus answers and says unto him, the first is, in the Hebrew language he said, Shama Israel Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. He repeated word for word what was given by Moses 1300 years before, without the change of a dot. Meaning that in the fundamentals of faith, no change. So Trinity was what he had come to teach. That was the occasion for him to clarify himself that, look, you have been hearing about Shema Israel Adonai Elohim Adonai Echad, but now I'm telling you that for there are three that bear record in heaven, the Father, the Word, and the Holy Ghost, and these three are one. That was the occasion. But he didn't say any such thing. In other words, in the fundamentals of faith, no change. Same. Some 600 years later, a Christian deputation comes to the Holy Prophet Muhammad from an area called Najran, and they were housed in the mosque of the Prophet for 3 days and 3 nights. They ate there, they slept there, and for 3 days and 3 nights they had a dialogue in the Masjid al-Nabawi, in the mosque of the Prophet. During the course of the discussion, the spokesman for the Christian poses the question, among so many other things. He says, all right, now tell us, O Muhammad, what is your concept of God? And he doesn't fumble. He doesn't say, well, you see, it's like this and like that and like that. He, so to say, presses his spiritual buttons. There were no buttons to press. I said, so to say. I hope you people, my brothers and sisters from India and Pakistan, they understand my English. It's very difficult for me to say things and then now you go along and say Muhammad was pressing his buttons, to get his answers. I said, so to say, कहने की बात. You कहने की बात, you कहते हैं. So to say, he presses his spiritual buttons, asking, oh my Lord, what shall I say? Nobody heard him say that. But so to say, trying to contact the source of all knowledge, the head computer, as the Quran describes, بَلْ هُوَ قُرْآنٌ مَجِيدٌ فِي لَوْحٍ مَحْفُوظٍ, that this is the glorious Quran from a tablet preserved. Anyone who has a connection with that, any prophet of God would have access to that type of knowledge, like the end terminal of the computer system. You press the button and you get the information, your flights, timing, this, that, reservations, everything is on. So, what shall I say? Comes the answer from the head computer. fi lawhim mahfuz, from the preserved tablet, saying through his mouth, using him as a mouthpiece. So qul huwa Allahu ahad, say he is God the one and only. Allahu samad, God the eternal absolute. Lam yalid wa lam yulad, he does not beget and is not begotten. Wa lam yakun lahu kufuwan ahad, and there is nothing like unto him. A touchstone of theology in 4 verses. There isn't a theology on earth which these 4 verses do not cover. Come with any idea of your concept of God. Either with these 4 verses we accept or we reject. This is the touchstone of theology.